So far, we have not done a whole lot on this assignment because we're learning about the program, but we only have the background. We did two steps, the background, light blue, and we wrote dog in a large font, 150px. We haven't done very much. However, I want to pause at this point to talk about saving your work. There's absolutely nothing worse than working on a graphic design for a really long time. Let's say you're creating a poster and you're almost done with it and you haven't saved it. And then the program crashes or the computer crashes or there's a power outage. You lose all that work. And if you don't save, there's only one thing to do, that start over. You don't want to do that. So we always want to save the PSD file in Photoshop or whatever else you're working on. You're working on an English paper in Microsoft Word. Save it often. Let's talk about saving right here. We're going to do one of a couple of ways, which is the drop down menu. So we have all of these across the top are called drop down menus. Click on File, go down to Save as PSD about halfway down, and click on that. You'll get a pop-up here with the default, the name that you gave the project, dog.psd. And on the left side, yours is going to look different than mine, but look for desktop. Let's say it's on documents, change it to desktop, and then click save in the bottom right-hand corner. So again, file, save as PSD, and then save again. Go ahead and pause and do that. Great. Now on your desktop, you will have a file called dog.psd. And now if my program crashes, I can come back and reopen it and not lose any work. The next step is to actually create the dog. And in order to create the dog, we are going to use shapes. You have to learn about the shape tools. So you might have been on the move tool or the type tool. I want you to count 3 tools below the type tool. So there's a big T, 1, 2, 3. We have the rectangle tool right there. Go ahead and click on that once. And now you'll notice up at the top, we have the option bars for rectangles. We'll talk about that in a second. The first thing I want you to do once you click the rectangle shape tool, the rectangle tool, is to click and drag a rectangle across your screen. What I mean by click and drag is you will click on your mouse. You will not just click and release. You're going to click and hold down that mouse button. Keep holding, and then you're going to move the mouse across your desk down and to the right. So I'm going to do that now. I'm clicking and holding. I'm not releasing. This would be just a click right there, and that would pop up. If that pops up, just click X. Don't click OK, click X. I'm going to click, hold, and I'm dragging the mouse down and to the right. And there we have a black rectangle. Pause, do that, come back, play the video. Okay, so notice that our rectangle is black. What if we want a different color? Let's look in the options bar. Here's the rectangle. Skip over this. We'll talk about that in the future. It says fill. Fill means I have filled everything on the inside of this shape right here, which is a rectangle, and we're filling it in this color up here. Notice it's not being filled with the foreground color down here on the toolbar. We have light blue. For the rectangle shape tool in the options, we have the fill color right there. And if we want to change it, you'll go ahead and click on that and choose a different color. I'm going to go ahead and choose pink. I want you to go ahead and do that for yourself right now. Pause the video. Okay, now, as I said, fill is everything on the inside. The next thing over from fill, we see stroke. Stroke is on the outside. In other programs, it's called border. So either stroke or border does the same thing. Notice right now this is a white box with a red X through it. And if you click on that, you'll see where it says fill type. Don't worry, that fill is the same word. It just means what color do you want that stroke. If it has white with a red X, or in Photoshop, it's white with just a red slash across it, that means no color. As you see down here, there's no stroke on it. You'll have 3 other things here. Your default would be black right there. You have a color there. This is color yellow, or sorry, these are patterns right there on the far right. So it's not a color, it's a pattern. And in the middle is gradient. We're just going to click on the one that's black. And then we're going to change the color. Choose any of these right down here that's not the color you chose. So I chose pink. I'm not going to choose pink. I'll choose blue for this one. Now, the stroke exists, but it's hard to see right there because it's only one pixel that's very thin. If I zoom in, for instance, you could see there's that blue stroke right there. We'll talk about zooming another day. But right now, what I want you to do is go to, let me bring that down. I want you to go to this slider here. So to the right of 1px, you're going to click on this arrow down, and you could drag that slider and move it up and down and see how thick it could get and whatnot, and make it whatever size you want. So you're going to pause the video, click on stroke, give it a color by clicking on this first one here, give it a color, and then I think you already did that, and then change the size. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and delete that layer. I'm going to click on the right side in the layers where it says shape. Click on that, come down to the very bottom and go to the far right where you see this trash can. Click on delete. Then move on to the next video.